Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome back to On Texas Football, and welcome back to the Winning Drive, the primetime edition. I'm Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers. Pleased to be joined by fellow Lifetime Longhorn, young prodigy himself, C.J. Vogel, and our own coach, former high school football coach at Vernon, Capel, Brownwood, Belton, Rotan. Also played college football at Abilene Christian, coached there as well. Was on the staff at University of Texas for multiple head football coaches. And these days, you can catch his work at ShipleyRanches.com. It's our own coach, Coach Bob Shipley. What's going on, Coach? How you doing?
Hey, waiting on some big old raindrops to fall. I'm talking about them big raindrops to fall.
Well,
Longhorns, big old budded offensive lineman raindrops to fall.
I knew that's where Coach was going.
I like big butts. I'm sorry. Especially when they're protecting my quarterback.
There you go. You did get one big butt. You got Ian Jaffrod, but he's on the defensive side of things.
Yeah, he's on the wrong side. I mean, no, he's on the right side. That's where he needs to be.
Yeah, but now Coach wants to see some O-linemen. I'm with you, Coach. I agree. I think a lot of Longhorns fans feel the same way. It's like, hey, I'm cool with the specialists. We did get another commitment from a tight end, so close to the O-line. At least he lines up right next to him a lot of the times, but not quite an O-lineman. So, Coach, we'll get into that conversation because I'm with you. That's how I feel, too. I want to see some O-linemen. They have had a couple visits. We'll talk to my man CJ about that. We'll get into it. I know a lot of y'all out there feeling a little anxious right now because of the way the portal has gone so far for the Longhorns, but still early. So we'll get into it. But your questions, comments, whatever you guys want to talk about, throw it out there. Super chats always jump to the front of the line. You can interrupt the show at any time. Talk about a super chat. What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for joining us. Appreciate you guys taking the time. All right, let's talk about good news. Let's get into some of the good news because a lot of Longhorn fans, they don't see a lot of good news, but there is good news. The Longhorns got a commitment via the portal from a much needed position, considering Jack injuries did declare for the NFL draft a few days ago. And there it is. You see it. The Longhorns get a tight end via the portal, tight end out of Michigan State, Michael Masunas. CJ, I'm sure by now you've kind of done some deep diving on the young man. I got some notes as well. What are your thoughts about the Longhorns getting a player, a tight end at a position, of course, of need? But what are your thoughts of him as a player?
Yeah, with Jack injuries going pro, Texas needed to address the tight end room, and of course, they needed to do so in a veteran way. Masunas is a guy that, look, his receiving numbers probably won't stand out to you. I think he only had around 230, 240 receiving yards, three touchdowns this year. But this is a guy who is very adamant about his ability to block and play on the inline. And look, he played 96% of his snaps a year ago as an inline tight end. That means, look, Michigan State, we know Big Ten football, Rod, they don't put him out wide. They don't put him in the slot. They don't put him out there as a wide receiver. Does that mean this is what he's going to be stuck doing at Texas? Probably not, but knowing what Texas likes to do in 12 personnel, more times than not, you'll see him as that inline guy at the end of on opposite side of an offensive tackle. But look, very physical. He's capable in the passing game, capable in the receiving game, but more than anything, he moves bodies up front. And that, again, is where we saw Texas desperately needing a change a year ago, both on the offensive line and in the tight end room. So it's a veteran presence and a guy that isn't afraid to go stick his hat where he doesn't need to have it. And that, to me, is amongst the big uglies on the opposite side, Coach, on that defensive line.
Yeah, I like him as a pass blocker, especially. He, I believe, among his 111 pass blocking snaps, 6 total pressures allowed. So, I mean, he's actually really good as a pass blocker. I think a run blocking, he's aggressive, and he's got the right attitude to run.
He's got the want to.
Yeah, I think that can improve too. The problem with Texas tight ends usually is, you get a player who is a plus or an asset in one area, like the passing game, and then they're not maybe even a liability or below average as a blocker, like in the run game. And I think that's what's going on for Texas right now. What tight end, and does he have a chance, in your opinion, Coach, is the most balanced, the one that can at the highest levels be a good blocker and a good receiver for you? Because that's your every down tight end. And Texas had one of those every year. It's Jack Hendricks last year. Before that, of course, Gunnar Helm, JT Sanders. And then they can moneyball the rest of it. But they got to have that guy. And do they have that guy?
Well, I don't know that Masumas has had that many opportunities to do that.
Yeah.
You know, we won't see necessarily how he does through spring ball, but I'm sure they're going to try him out and see if he can be an every down, tight end. He certainly proved himself as a run blocker and a guy that, as you said, if they're in two tight end situations, he's going to be the blocker. He's going to be the guy, a great pass protector. We haven't necessarily had that at tight end, so that's going to be a big plus. It will also obviously help our running game to have a tight end that's a great blocker, that takes pride in his blocking. But I think we'll see. Texas will certainly, try to use him as an every down back in the spring training drills and see what he looks like. But I'm excited about this guy. I mean, I love a tight end like this, and that's what we've missed is a great blocking tight end. When the pressure's coming, you can keep him in, have him help out with the offensive lineman. And apparently he does a really good job of doing that. Now, if he can flex out and be a threat in the passing game, that's just an added bonus.
Yeah, and that's kind of the unknown, I would say, right now. Coach, you mentioned Texas hasn't had one of those true kind of maulers at the tight end spot. This is what Masunis was known for at Michigan State. They ran 12 personnel very often, more than Texas, obviously, right? Big Ten football, Michigan State style of football. That's kind of what they do. They had another tight end, Jack Velling, who split a lot of his reps, probably about 60% as a out wide, slot wide receiver kind of tight end. Obviously, he would be their motion back as well. Texas, we saw this year use Nick Townsend, Jordan Washington at times as that kind of piece. So it's going to be interesting. But right now, I see if Texas goes into 12 personnel, it's your 5 offensive linemen, it's Masunis, and then it's another tight end in motion or coming in somewhere else to kind of work with that, that offense. We've seen it obviously in 2025 where Texas goes heavy 12 personnel and it didn't do a whole lot in the run game. So this is a step in the right direction for me, at least.
Yeah, I can't wait to see who ends up being, kind of the lead tight end in terms of target share and snaps out of that group next season. With adding Michael Masunis to it. But I do like him as a blocker. Can he be a guy that can add, something for you as a receiver in the passing game? That's something I think kind of remains to be seen. But I like it was a position of need. You had to have a veteran player there. They got a veteran player in Michael Masunis, 6'6", 262. I mean,
that big guy,
huge. Yeah, I mean, he's huge. You got some tight ends that have some size, but not necessarily the ones that you're trying to use as targets down the field. 6'6", 260. I mean, that dude's he should be a force in the running game. He's got the frame for it. All right, let's before we dive into the questions, I know we got a bunch of those, and I want to talk about the running back position for the Longhorns too. We'll get into that. Let's thank our lead sponsor for tonight's live stream. We appreciate our friends over at South Point Dodge. You will as well. There's nothing like Texas football and nothing runs like a Ram. South Point Dodge is Austin's Ram headquarters, folks. A huge savings on Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, plus exclusive perks for On Texas football listeners. Right now, you get 90 days to make your first payment, and they'll ship that fantastic ride to you no matter where you are in the great state of Texas or in this great country of ours. They'll ship it to you, and that's what they do. Over 600 vehicles right now in stock for our friends over at South Point Dodge. So whether you need a workhorse or a weekend warrior, they've got you covered. Visit southpointdodge.com or go see them in person off of I-35 in South Austin. Whether you need a car, a truck, an SUV, whether you need something new or something used, trade in. Our friends at South Point Dodge, they pride themselves on being Austin's automotive everything. So go check them out today at southpointdodge.com, and we appreciate them for being part of the On Texas football family and sponsoring the winning drive. All right. Let's get right to the super chats, and then we'll dive into some other topics too. But Todd here with the super chat, he's asking the question a lot of folks are asking. He said, any news on Relique Brown?
Yeah.
And he wants to know about those 2 Michigan offensive linemen, Sprague being one of them, who did actually visit the Longhorns, and he wants to know about Cam Coleman. So Tosh is like, man, give me all the nuggets. He wants to know give me all the nuggets. Thank you, Todd. We appreciate the super chat.
Todd, you can space those out over multiple super chats. Come on, man.
Try to get a bang for your buck. You know what I mean?
No, I think it's completely fair. That's what we all want to sit here and hear about, right? First, let me preface this because I wrote this morning. Look, Texas is all in. I'm not. I'm sitting here saying I got to see it before I believe it first. So I think Texas is going to be uber aggressive, but the all-in chatter, you won't hear it from me anymore. I got to see it to believe it. There's been too many names previously, a David Bailey, a Lee Hunter. You go back to Peter Woods, the guys from Michigan last year, Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham. You hear about these guys. Chris Bell, another from Louisville. You hear about these guys all the time, and they're linked to Texas, and for whatever reason, they don't end up at Texas. So, hey, we hear Texas is going all in. I got to believe it first before you hear that from me anymore. So before we get to that was my kind of spiel. I had to get that out of the way. But Raleek Brown, Arizona State running back, really talented. It's almost a spitting image of Jaden Blue, shorter end, probably a better visional eyesight, running back there, but the breakaway speed is absolutely there. He will be visiting on Wednesday. There have been other sites, other reporters have put in predictions for Texas. Look, he has a hefty price tag right now. Or Jerry Hamilton put that up there in the 1.5, 1.2 range. Look, that's a lot. Especially for a running back who we just don't know if he's a every down, 3 down back at 5'8". We'll round up to 5'8". He's not the tallest, not the biggest, but he's very quick. We're going to pull up his huddle here in a second, but the breakaway speed, you'll notice it right away. Really talented. He had a really good year at Arizona State this year after coming in from USC. But look, if he were to commit to Texas, Texas would still need another back, in my opinion. Is that going to be Jaden Ball right now? I don't know. Look, again, it's just one of those situations where you have to wait for them to enter the portal before they end up, becoming a true option. But this is a talented back. Again, Jaden Blue is probably the lazy comparison here, given the size, given the speed. But we've seen what a Jaden Blue could do in this offense, and I think Brown would be a very solid fit. Now, Todd, I'll get to the Michigan guys and Coleman here in a sec, but I wanted to give you guys a chance, if we get the huddle up here in a sec, to speak on Raleek Brown as he gets in on Wednesday.
I'll say this about Raleek Brown because I went and did some research on him, because at this point, and we'll get to it later on, Texas may need to be a little bit more aggressive. And I don't know how aggressive they've been, to your point about the all-in thing, but they need to be aggressive right now when it comes to the running back position. There's no question. By the way, running back position, shout out to Trey Wisner. Congrats. He's committing to Florida State, I believe, correct? Did we? Yeah. So I just want to throw it out there. Yeah, it's a good platform. So we're talking about running back. I might as well throw it out there. But this is what I like about Raleek Brown in Texas system, just on the surface. All right. I haven't done deep dive film study on him yet. But I do like the fact that they threw the ball to him a lot. 46 targets. Guys, that was 11th overall among running backs in college football and 5th among Power 4 running backs. So Sark has always said running back is the most underutilized position in the passing game, a weapon in the passing game. And you can do that with Raleek Brown, to your point about your Jaden Blue comp, what Sark really loved about Jaden Blue. Remember, he was also among top 5 in targets for running backs that season. If you go look at his yards after look at missed tackles for us first. Let's look at that, because I think that's an important thing. 53 missed tackles for us, which is 17th in all of the FBS, top 10 among Power 4 running backs. You go look at his overall 10-plus yard runs, so what some would consider explosive runs, 31. This season, 31 of those. That's top 20 and top 10 in the Power 4, but top 20 in all of college football. 15-plus yard runs. He's got 16 of those. That's 18th in all the FBS, 12th in the Power 4. And I mean, if you go look at his overall yards gained on explosive runs, so of his entire yards gained on explosive runs, he is 14th and 7th in the Power 4 in amount of yards gained on explosive runs.
Yeah,
so he's an explosive player. And that's what he needs in the backfield. They don't have enough explosivity, and they did not in the backfield, which is Trey Wisner.
And that's the thing. And Coach, I'll let you talk about needing that GoDaddy, because I think if you add Brown, you still need one. But this is a guy that you could use in a variety of ways that Texas didn't have the luxury of, because you just didn't have that type of horse in your stable. But I did want to mention this. This is one of the statistics that kind of blew me away originally. Runs of 30 or of 10 plus this year. Raleek Brown. I added Trey Wisner and Caden Durham in here as well, who is a candidate to visit.
Yeah.
Raleek Brown, 31 runs of 10 plus yards. Trey Wisner had 13. Caden Durham had 9. So kind of gives you an idea of the level of explosivity, of big playability. That all kind of resonates there. Now, again, needing a GoDaddy, I still think you have to go get yourself one.
Yeah, there's no doubt you do. But in fact, we need Raleek, and we need at least one more, preferably 2 more. But we got Christian Clark. And if he proved anything, he proved that, he deserves some playing time. And we've got at least 1, maybe 2 really good freshmen coming in this year, given some time to develop. If these guys can hold the fort down. But if history has proven anything, it's that you need a stable of running backs at the University of Texas. And so, I would like to sign 3, let Christian Clark, be able to contribute the best way that he can. He's not maybe an All-American, but he did a pretty good job against a great Michigan defense, and gave us a spark and helped us win that game. But these young guys just need a little bit of time. A few maybe halfway through the season. Maybe before that they start working those guys in. But we definitely need to do what we can to get Raleek in, because if you watch the film on him, he is great. I don't know if we have that film ready or not, but he is okay. He is a GoDaddy. And now he was in the Big 12. That's not the SEC. But I say throw out all the stats except the Power 4. Because those other guys are playing against defenses that aren't even close to what you're seeing in the Power 4. Yeah. So for his numbers in the Power 4, to me, tell me that he's a back that we need. A guy that has 31 explosive runs. That's unbelievable to me.
That was probably more than what Texas had all 25, Coach.
Yeah. Could we use that? Can we use that?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't, because, here's the question that Longhorn fans will, I guess, contemplate. Is he an upgrade over Trey Wisner?
From a speed perspective?
It seems like now you're going to end up paying. But if I don't know what this guy's demanding, but he's probably got a lot of leverage right now, considering the running backs that have come off the board. Because didn't Hollywood Smothers recently
He committed to Alabama, yep.
Okay. So another big back is off the board. 2 of the other backs that were high on Texas's board, Isaac Brown and Jaden Baugh, not even in the portal. And looks like Isaac Brown is going to stay there at Louisville. And we are very little info coming out about what Jaden Baugh is going to do, but he hadn't done anything, and that's good for Florida. Probably not as good for Texas.
Correct.
So this young man, and I don't know who his agent is, but just read the market. He's got a lot of leverage. So you're going to pay big bucks for a running back. Just the reality of it. Probably you're going to overpay. I ain't got no problem with that. So is it an upgrade over Trey Wisner? That's the question.
It probably is.
I think so. I think so, personally. Get him through spring ball, let him get a feel for the offense, understand how it works, see how the fits work and all that stuff. I think he could be. He may not be. I don't know that you'd crown him that yet, but I think he certainly can be.
Well, is he? It doesn't matter if he doesn't have the big uglies up front, Coach. And I know we talked about that a little bit off air, and I know part of that super chat as well was about the Michigan offensive linemen. Look, both of them are meeting with Kyle Whittingham in Ann Arbor currently. So that's Andrew Sprague, that's Granera as well. Look, he just kind of in a holding pattern. And I know Sprague was on campus. I know Granero is another guy that Texas has had a lot of contact with. This just kind of adds to my point. If you get these guys on campus, you got to finish and seal the deal.
Yeah.
Right. You can't give them the opportunity to go back home where they say, hey, I'm familiar with this place. I liked trekking here. Maybe I'm from here. It doesn't matter. If you have the opportunity to get them on campus and lock them down, you got to do it. And we'll talk about it here in a minute as well. But that's part of kind of why I'm sitting there saying all in. I just don't buy it. So got to wait and see. And I'm going to sound like a broken record saying that all night. But look, that's just the reality of it. It's like a closer.
Yeah.
Blown saves will cost you a job.
That's real.
It's not easy.
I'll just say that I think he is an upgrade over Trey Wisner, but I do think it's an interesting conversation to have now because it was about, the dollar figure that Texas, wasn't willing to pay, that kind of thing. And I just wonder if Longhorn fans believe he's an upgrade. I know he played against that people say Big 12 competition. I think if you look at the 2024 year for Trey Wisner and then look at this 2025 year, that's a better year to compare.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of his breakout year. But even then, so that my big thing, I look at running backs, I'm looking at explosive runs and missed tackles forced. That's sort of my big, and then yards after contact. Those are kind of my big three. I look at those on the surface if I'm looking at just analytics and stats before I start diving into the film. And that year for Trey Wisner, 2024, 45 missed tackles forced. It's pretty damn good. 27 10-plus yard runs, 15 15-plus yard runs. And I'm looking for yards. He was right around 3 yards after contact per rush. And Raleek Brown has his 2025 campaign bested all those stats. He had 53 forced missed tackles, 3.2 yards after contact per rush, 31 10-plus yard runs. But the Kim Kardashian, Nicki Minaj, Rita size Cardi B size, Megan Thee Stallion size, J-Lo size butt. Somebody told me to add her in there, so I did. Is that yes, SEC versus Big 12. I get that. I would say there is a line. One is a line of scrimmage league, and one is not necessarily a line of scrimmage league. So it's a good discussion. But I like Raleek Brown. I think he is an upgrade over Trey Wisner, but not I don't know if it's a huge one.
I'll say this. I like knowing that Sark has utilized the back just like Raleek Brown in this offense previously and not too long ago.
Yeah.
That's something that I can get behind.
Yeah. No, I like your Jaden Blue thing. Like, I don't know if straight away, I'm not sure about straight away speed, who's faster, but I do like that because he would be great in Sark's screen game and out of the backfield on some of that stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Todd. I think we went way long on Todd's question. Wanted to give him his bang for his buck. Sailor Joe here. Thank you for the super chat. Says Bama just got Smothers. Yep. We just discussed that. Says so Brown to Texas. Like I said, I would think if you're Texas right now, who else is on the board for you as a guy coach describes him as a GoDaddy? I mean, you're running out of GoDaddies at the running back position unless you can pull a certain running back at Florida out into the darkness. And I don't know. Right now, there's, like I said, we haven't heard much about it.
Yeah.
So
again, no news there is great news for Florida. That's kind of the bottom line.
Agreed. Unfortunately for us, yeah, I agree on that. And it's been crickets since the portal opened about Jaden Boss. So we shall see. All right. Thank you for that super chat, Sailor Joe. We really appreciate that. Chris here says, "What's up, fellas? Why did we allow a visit from a guy that was not officially in the portal? Are we being used to set the market for players? What player are we discussing here? That's not popular.
Spend that right over here to me, Matthew. Chris, I don't know who specifically this is in reference to, but as far as that second half of the message, absolutely. Anytime you can throw around a Texas and Ohio State, Texas Tech is now in the conversation for schools. You hear it all the time from agents. If player X is considering school 1, 2, and 3. Oh, but one of those schools is now Texas Tech. Well, the other two schools have to say, oh, shoot, well, we got to up our package because we're competing with one of the biggest schools money-wise in the country. Texas is no different, right? You hear the Longhorn logo or see the Longhorn logo. You hear Texas thrown out there. Is it probably Isaac Brown? I mean, maybe. But, again, look, he never truly entered, if I recall. And so that's one of those for the old folks who follow the NBA. I can only liken it to 2015. The Clippers wanted to re-sign DeAndre Jordan. The Mavs wanted to
Oh man,
wanted to steal DeAndre Jordan in free agency and say, "Hey, come join our crew. We got some talent. We got some potential here." And was it Blake Griffin, Chris Paul, the GM, the owner? They all locked DeAndre Jordan in his house in LA and said, "Hey, you cannot leave. We will not let you leave." That's basically what Louisville did here by not releasing his intent or releasing his paperwork to enter the portal until after the weekend, when there was the 48-hour business day or business hour window, which then over the weekend they sat down with him, they talked to him, and he rescinded the idea to enter the portal. That's basically what it was like. So sorry for folks who are Mavs fans or Clippers fans, but
I remember that.
That's the best way my brain can work there.
Oh, Mark Cuban, poor Mark Cuban, right? Trying to get a hold of him. It was like, it wouldn't answer the phone, couldn't get a hold of him.
They put his phone in the freezer. They said, no.
It worked. That was a good strategy. And it worked for Isaac Brown, apparently. Like, he's staying there. And good for Louisville, because that dude, talk about GoDaddy, coach. That was your GoDaddy right there.
Oh, yeah.
He was your GoDaddy. Dude averaging over 8 yards per rush. He was averaging over 5 yards per rush after contact. I mean, he had some freaky, just crazy numbers.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was. Yeah, that dude was GoDaddy. But I think you got another one, not the same level, but in a Relique Brown, if you can pull it off. All right, thank you for that, Chris. I appreciate that, and we appreciate the super chat as well. All right, XZ, how about this one? Says, would we go after Caden Durham? Good question, and he's got to be on their board at this point. If he wasn't, he should be now, right?
Yes, originally I would have said no way. Caden Durham did not like Texas coming out of high school. He's originally from Oklahoma City, committed obviously down to LSU. Look, very much the same back or similar style back as that of Relique Brown. If Texas lands Brown, there's no need to go get yourself another 5'8", 5'9" running back who's basically, I don't want to call him a one-trick pony, but when you're that size, speed better be your calling card. And that's Durham's calling card for sure. He just doesn't have the breakaway ability or vision as Relique Brown, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right. So I think it's unlikely to wrap that up.
Okay. All right. Man, like I said, Relique Brown's got a lot of leverage at this point. He's got a lot of leverage. All right. Thank you for the super chat. Derek's up next. This is from Coach. He says, with our rivals getting 4 linemen ready, 3 starters in the SEC, surely we have at least 2 Michigan linemen. Dunsinger, we aren't visitors. Same for Cam. Harris can't be this inept, right? What do you think?
First of all, let me say this. In my opinion, Harris is the negotiator. He ain't calling the shots. In my opinion. He's the one that goes out. He's a spokesman for what this staff wants to do, specifically Steve Sarkisian. I don't think Harris is making the decisions. He is the message guy. He's the one that delivers it. He tries to recruit them, but the numbers are not coming from Harris. They're just not. They're coming from the head man and his staff, who are trying to figure out this puzzle on what do we got to hold back for Cam Coleman, what's going to be left, and if Cam Coleman doesn't commit soon, what are we going to do? Are we going to hold that money and wait for him? Because I kind of feel like that Cam Coleman is in a pretty good situation to negotiate and get into a bidding war. Mm-hmm. And that's probably what he's doing right now, is getting in a bidding war among 3 teams.
Well, to go back to my earlier point, you throw USC in the mix, you throw Texas Tech in the mix, and now A&M in Texas. I mean, if you're Alabama, you're sitting there saying, well, he's from, the area. He went to Auburn. We should have a chance here, but can you really compete with those 4 when it comes to a bidding war? Probably not. So absolutely, Coach. I think you're dead on there. But no, to add to that, every decision that happens in Texas football, whether it's personnel, whether it's recruiting, whether it's who plays, who dresses up, who redshirts, Steve Sarkisian has the final send-off, right? Mm-hmm. As do the majority of coaches across the country. It is their program. Now, You go across the country, you see the Jim Nagy's, you see the James Blanchards, you see, some of these general managers popping up, and they're trying to gain more and more control because that's how they keep their job. That's part of it, right? But I think at Texas, it's Sark's way. And if you're the head coach, you've earned that right. Absolutely, 100%. If I was a head coach, I'd be saying, I want final say over every single thing in my program, and I think that's how it is here.
No doubt.
Yeah, no, I agree with Coach on that. There's no doubt. Sark is calling the shots. But man, somebody's gonna get left holding, as Jerry says, holding the bag with Cam Coleman. I mean, because you can only wait around for so long, especially if that's a position of need for you. Matter of fact, next super chat here. Thank you. We appreciate that one as well. Appreciate that, Derek. Cole's up next. He said, "Is there any concern with Malik Brown only having one solid year of production? Coach, if they take 3, would they need to all be one and done type guys?"
I would that wouldn't bother me because we have the young guys that we're developing. Not a lot, but we have enough there to develop. It wouldn't be the best case scenario in my mind, but how many you ain't going to get 3 one and done guys, but because they're going to see Malik Brown come in and go, God, he's going to be the man. Ain't going to be me. I'm going to be fighting for, X number of reps a game. I think you're probably going to go after some younger guys who have 2 or 3 years left, who can learn under Malik and learn under, a running back coach that hopefully is going to develop these guys, into NFL players. But no, you're not going to get 3-1. It wouldn't matter to me, but it will matter. It will matter to these kids. Nobody wants to come in. If you're a one and done receiver and we get Cam, it's, of course we have more room probably at receiver because you can play 4 at one time.
Mm-hmm.
We don't play too many. Very rarely do we play 2 backs at one time.
Yeah. No, I've been advocating for them to play more 2-back sets and more pony back.
Yeah. No,
they did a lot of it going back to CJ's point when they had a guy like Jaden Blue, and they played a lot of it with Jaden Blue and Trey Wires. They played a lot of it with Bijan and Rojo. When they got 2 quality backs that they believe are high-level backs, Sark will play a lot of that pony package. It's just lately they haven't had 2 they can count on because CJ Baxter just wasn't 100%. There was no need to put CJ back. When you're 2 backs, basically, when you try to put your best skill guys on the field, and you will admit, like, well, Bijan and Rojo are definitely, both of them, among your best 11 players on offense. He puts them on the field. And I think that was the case with Jaden Blue and Trey Wiesner, too, in 2024, because Jaden Blue was such an explosive, dynamic threat. Right? Think about that guy, and he was scoring against all the best teams for you in the playoffs. So I think that's why he was like, I got to get them both on the field because Trey Wiesner was also your heart and soul of your run game at the time. So I don't know if you've had that. I would love for that to be the case. That means you're going to have to get a couple of GoDaddies, though. Or maybe Derek Cooper is a GoDaddy already. Or maybe,
Which could be the case.
Balls out again. Like, I don't know. Okay. All right. Thank you for the super chat, Kozer. Let's thank a couple of more sponsors before we move on, and we'll answer some more super chats. I promise you on that. But let's thank our friends over at Von Lane. We appreciate our friends over at Von Lane, and you will as well. They do a great job making sure you have the most luxurious travel experience on the road today. That's why I appreciate my friends over at Von Lane. I've taken it several times for business. I've taken it for personal reasons to go visit family. And each and every time, it seems like it's better and better. They improve it. I got to tell you, every week, it seems like they're adding something new to the experience. And now the holidays are over. It's time to get back to business, time to get back to the meetings and the conference calls and the packed travel calendars. And if you're still trying those short routes on, obviously short routes flying, or you're trying to drive yourself, that can be really stressful. Try the Von Lane experience. Von Lane delivers a first-class travel experience on the ground. You board in minutes at a private hotel terminal, settle into one of just 22 oversized leather seats. You enjoy complimentary Wi-Fi, snacks, beverages, and hot towel service on every trip. And on select departures, Von Lane also offers complimentary meals to make your travel experience even better. Speaking of bettering your travel experience, Von Lane is also rolling rolling out this Starlink internet access across the entire fleet, making complimentary Wi-Fi even faster, even more reliable, perfect for staying connected on the way to meetings and conferences. Von Lane serves Austin, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Fort Worth, Plano, the Woodlands, Nashville, Memphis, Atlanta, and Knoxville. And if you're traveling with a team, you can even charter your own Von Lane, designing the trip from pickup to drop off. Visit vonlane.com. That's VONLANE.com. And if it's your first time riding, enter the code OTF26 at checkout to receive $20 off your first ride with Von Lane. That's Von Lane, your private jet on wheels. We appreciate them. And we also want to give a shout out to our friends over at Hargrove Roofing. Hargrove Roofing does a great job, and they'll do a great job for you. They are also offering free roof inspections. So if you reach out today, 512-645-3202, you can take advantage of that. Don't try to DIY it yourself. If it's been a while since you've had professionals look at your roof, you can trust the fine folks over at Hargrove Roofing, hargroveroofing.com. Know who's on your roof at Hargrove Roofing. They have offices all over Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas as well. They're the most pro burnt orange roofing company out there. I've met these folks several times, and we've actually had several activations with them. They're really good folks, and they can be trusted with something that you care about and something that means a lot to you, which is your home and your roof. So check them out, hargroveroofing.com. All right, back to the super chats. How about this one from Wade? Thank you, Wade, for the super chat. We appreciate it. If not Cam, who would y'all go after at wide receiver? This is good. Also, has there been an update on Wingo? This is good, CJ, because we're talking about running back and running out of options. Some of the wide receiver options, obviously the top guy on the board is still out there in Cam Coleman. But what if you don't get Cam? What's the contingency plan?
That's a great question, because how do you replace the number one wide receiver, the number one player in the portal, if you don't land him? There's, quite frankly, probably not a close number two, but you could find someone that does similar traits or possesses similar traits, right? Mm-hmm. So Trey Richardson's a name that's been popped up a little bit, the wide receiver from Vanderbilt. We've talked about in the past, look, wide receiver has an abundance of talent. Do they have as much game-changing talent as Cam Coleman? No. And that's why this pursuit is as highly coveted as it is. Sorry. Oh, God. I've been battling with some – I don't know. A street taco nearly took me out this week, guys. I've been down and under the weather for about 60 hours or so. So if you see me crying, it's not because of the portal. It's because of the taco almost just put me under.
Man, you're a soldier, man. I can't believe I didn't even know that, CJ. And you've been.
Hey, if you got to go, man, that's the way to go.
You've been working overtime during the portal madness, and you got wrecked by a street taco.
You see me crying, man. I can't do it. I can't do it.
I didn't know that, bro. This is my first time hearing that. I wish you'd have texted me and told me, so I'd have been like, "Oh, you could do something for you." You could told you to take the night off or something, man.
But no, look for Trey Richardson as a name from Vanderbilt, 6'2", 6'3"-ish, another big body wide receiver, talented kid. And an update on Wingo, no, but still trending in the right direction there with Texas. So again, we're going to sound, I've said it 100 times. If we're sounding like a broken record because they're trending in the right direction and we still have to just wait and see, that's kind of just where we're at right now. No update there is good update.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if Wingo was going to go in, he would have already gone in. You know, people are spending their money right now. Mm-hmm. You know, there's not going to be people that have money left to bring in a Trey Wingo at this point, in my opinion.
Why block? What is the holdup on Wingo? It's just finalizing a deal. So look, he and his camp and the staff have been in communication. It's just dotting I's and crossing T's.
Yeah. No, in season right, it's only one game tenure left. And coach, it's kind of like, coach just described it, but it's kind of like the NFL free agency where the big money is spent early. Then after that, all the big money's gone. So yeah, if you're trying to get the big money, you want to be out there for the first few days of it. So I'm with you. I think his agent is pretty confident maybe in what Texas is offering. So the Wingo thing is get done. But the wide receiver market, I got to tell you, it's not very impressive right now. Because my point is, you have to upgrade over DeAndre Moore and Parker Livingston. You can't go get guys, in my opinion, that are not an upgrade over. That's why the Raleek Brown is an upgrade over Trey Wisner. I hope you can confidently say yes, whoever you bring in. Because you can't, in my opinion, if you end up paying the same amount of money for the guy you let leave, then we got a different discussion we need to have. Like, I don't like that. The whole point is to upgrade the roster via the portal. Upgrades. Long as they're better, got no problem. If they're not better, we got a problem. We got a problem. Especially if you're paying the same amount of money. We got a problem.
Well, I do know that Livingston has visited Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
I do know that.
Hey, Coach.
Man,
Oklahoma today.
Oh, no. Did he go? Hey, did he go to Sooners for real?
He checked in. A number of Longhorns, actually. I guess they swiped up on his story, and DJ Campbell left a funny, emoji of just the "I'm not happy" face. And
you know what? If he ends up going there, that's gonna be and ends up starting for him. That'll be a hell of a storyline for that game. But if Cignetti brings him in, there it is. I like that. I like that. If Cignetti brings him in, that also would be scary because, like, man, Cignetti is like a mad scientist right now. So if Cignetti's pulling you in,
he's working hard.
Yeah, he is, man. He's doing good work up there in Indiana. All right, getting back to it. Kozer. Oh,
here we go.
Add it right there. Boom.
$50. That's my man.
Yeah, it is right.
Come on, Rob B.
Making it rain. He says, bring the helmet in for making sure to add J-Lo into the butt. Yes. And you know what? I apologize because I was online the other day and I came across a picture of J-Lo on my timeline. I was like, what am I doing? Why is J-Lo? Her butt should definitely be added to the butts. I mean, that's a legendary. So my bad. She's an OG when it comes to the big butts and the bodacious, bootylicious look. So I apologize. I should have had J-Lo on there. That's on me, Kozer. Thank you very much for the Super Bowl.
Hey, I got my grandson a little Longhorn helmet for Christmas. I think I may bring it over to the house and put it on for one of those tweets. See my big old fat face and that little 5-year-old helmet.
Don't get stuck, Coach. Don't get. We gotta cut you out of that thing.
Oh no, it's thin. It's thin plastic. I've already put it on. There's a picture floating out somewhere. It ain't pretty.
You have to try it on. Right as you
I tried it on. My daughter made me take a picture with it. It ain't pretty.
I bet you can go.
It looked like that quarterback from Kentucky back in the day.
Oh yeah, the big boy. What's his name?
The hefty lefty, Jared Lorenzen.
Is it Jared Lorenzen?
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh man, this made me sad for a second there, there. Yeah, that made me sad. Real quick, Coach, why don't you just grab Jackson or Jordan's helmet?
I got Jordan's helmet in my pickup right now, but my grandkids have been playing with it. We lost the jaw pads on it. So I got a sporting good buddy of mine trying to find some jaw pads that'll fit that 2010 helmet, 2009 helmet. They don't make them like that anymore.
Memorabilia freaks just heard that and probably crumpled inside. Every one of them, probably.
Yeah, in fact, I'm gonna take it out of my truck tonight in case we got any West Texas guys come by and try to break in my truck.
I was about to say, Coach, yeah, you might.
The one he wore it's a helmet he wore in the national championship game.
Ooh, yeah.
So I'm gonna give it back to him. I had it in safekeeping because Jordan, like back in the day, he had like national championship ring, all these All-American rings and everything, just in his center console, in his glove box, in the back seat, the floorboard. You never knew where you were going to find that stuff. That don't mean nothing to him, But one day it'll mean something to his kids.
Yes.
So I'm hanging on to all that stuff for him so that one day I can give it to his kids and they'll make sure that, well, he'll probably take it to school and go show and tell and get stolen or something. But no. He had a Masters flag signed by Ben Crenshaw wadded up in the back seat of his truck. On a floorboard.
Come on, man. What?
That stuff he just doesn't care about that stuff.
I'm just glad that wasn't a doormat in front of his front door.
That's wild. Dang. Wow. I don't tell him what he done lost there that could have been worth something or meant something. Thank you, Coach. That's good. You're a good dad. You're a good dad. You already know, like, he don't appreciate it now, but wait till he gets it.
All that stuff's in a safe box now. Mm-hmm. Except the helmet won't fit.
Because you need the jaw pads?
No, the helmet won't fit in the lock box.
Oh, elevator. Like, yeah. Oh, I got you. Yeah, you're not gonna find. It's gonna be hard to find some pads, just so you know, because those helmets, they're not even. Those guys are obsolete. They don't even make them.
They are
Probably not considered safe helmets anymore like they used to be.
Yeah, but you don't know these people out in West Texas. See, they hang on to that stuff. They're old cotton farmers and all that stuff. They hang on to everything because you never know when you might need it. So I got my man scouring the countryside looking for them jaw pads. My grandkids lost it. I don't know how they got them out of there.
Man, because they're kids, they find a way to lose stuff. I got one too, and she lose stuff all the time. I'm like, how'd you lose it? This house is so damn small. She'll lose it. All right, getting back to it. Diggs, thank you, Diggs, for the super chat. Says CJ, should we be concerned about your tweet regarding not addressing the O-line, rendering everything meaningless?
No. Look, we mentioned it before. Andrew Sprague, Jake Guarnera, both guys from Michigan, Texas, is after both of them are still meeting with Michigan and now new coach Kyle Whittingham. Okay, so again, just got to wait and see. Texas has to be uber aggressive. They have to continue to push the needle there when it comes to landing the next group of offensive linemen. Because look, if they don't land offensive linemen, it doesn't matter if they land Cam Coleman. It doesn't matter if they land Raleek Brown. It doesn't matter what they do. If they don't get an offensive line and address it out of the portal, Texas doesn't have a chance next year to be competitive at a national level. And that would be a waste of Arch Manning's final year. That would be a waste of Colin Simmons' final year before he goes to the NFL. So look, you got to come away with offensive linemen. And right now, the two from Michigan are the ones that feel like they're at the top of the depth chart or the list right now for Texas. They also brought in the kid from Wyoming, though I think ultimately a size might be a concern there for whether or not they push fully for him as well. Wes King is his name, by the way. That slips my mind almost. But
what does his butt look like?
Coach. Thin
butt?
Yeah,
no.
Let him go roam with the buffalo out there.
So, I know that we're talking about the offensive line here. So that's kind of where we're at is Texas has to cross the line with the two Michigan kids or find somebody else down the list. And I know folks have asked about Lance Hurd out of Tennessee. That's a strictly left tackle look. If that's a left tackle look and you just brought back Trevor Gooseby to a deal and signed him for 2026, well, now you're in a bit of a pickle. So that doesn't make a whole lot of sense there for me. But we'll see if other options emerge, because there are going to be names that we don't know about that both enter and both end up on campus. And we just won't know, because that's how it should be, Coach. I'm sure that there were Fort Knox level secrets back when you were on staff. Rod, I'm sure that there were secrets that the coaches back then wouldn't even tell players or anybody else on staff outside of that meeting room. And that's how it is again today, especially in the world of social media and in the age where folks come to On Texas Football to learn about these secrets. And, well, they're not going to let us know about it if they don't have to.
Yeah. I'm kind of a coach. Coach started out the show saying, "Hey, man, on Texas butts."
We could keep OTF. It's On Texas Fannies.
I
see it. Marco, well done.
There you go.
I like it, Marco.
But I'm with Coach though, man. What the O lineman at? I want the two Michigan O linemen at this point. Like I want.
Butt looks like a street taco.
Who said that?
I don't know if that's what a street taco looks like. I was thinking about. Never mind.
Matthew Blockham.
Hey, let me tell you what. I'm gonna tell you what
to
help that street taco. Some Bluebell ice cream.
Wow.
Soothe that stomach. Just that cool, creamy, going down. Trust me.
Hey, come on, CJ. Can you warn everybody where is this street taco you got, so I don't go get it from that place?
The night. I was hugging a toilet, so I don't remember a whole lot.
Was it downtown?
It was on.
What's that hard, Dickie, dude? Come on, Randy. Y'all are supposed to forget my jokes.
People are logging in to hear about the portal, fellas.
All right, let's get done with yeah.
I don't want to hear about it.
Let's get back to it. We're off the rails. All right, Benny's up next with a super chat. Says, "What is now the definition of all in? Pay whatever the player is asking." Remember Jerry Jones pissed off Cowboys fans because remember before the season a couple years ago, he's like, Cowboys are going all in. It was like, we didn't do a damn thing. It's like, hey, that's the definition of all in. Longhorn fans are feeling like that right now because it doesn't feel like.
But it's not an unlimited budget anymore. That's the difference. It's not, you don't have an unlimited budget. So you got to save that money for Cam Coleman. If you don't get it, then maybe you could dig a little deeper, but you have to save that money for Cam Coleman, which is how much, CJ?
Don't ask me, Coach. Whatever I say is probably going to be a low ball to him. So, but
I'm hearing this.
But don't they have money already set aside for the O-line, right? To rebuild the O-line. That had to be done first and foremost. Before even the Cam Coleman sweepstakes, you had to set aside money because you had one of the worst O-lines in the country, and you got what people believe could be a number one over a 1-1 type guy at quarterback. So if you didn't do that and set aside enough money, by the way, didn't Arch take less money? So take that money that you was going to pay Arch that you ain't got to pay Arch. Put that on the O-line in addition to what you was supposed to rebuild the O-line with. And we should have, I don't know how much, but a lot of money to rebuild the O-line. You should be able to overpay some of these guys. I want the Michigan pair. I want Andrew Sprague and I want Jake Guarnera. I want them both.
And those two guys, they can't afford to be in a rebuilding year. They can't afford that at this point in their career. They cannot afford a rebuilding year. They got to go to a contender. And why not come to a contender with the number one returning quarterback in the country?
I think that's a fantastic point. And I think that's also a lot of the message that's being conveyed to Cam Coleman as well. Is, hey, you have Arch Manning throwing you the football. You're in a Steve Sarkisian offense. And, Marcel Reed returns for A&M. That's good and great. I know I got some A&M fans all up in a wad about that the other night. But do you trust that new play caller? First-time play caller up at Texas Tech. We just watched that offense score 0 points. I know they're getting a new quarterback, but still, that's part of it, right? That's part of the pitch. And I know in the grand scheme of things, it's and a lot of people will say it's only dollars, right? Only the bottom line, the final figure that gets a recruitment across the line. But look, if you're Texas, you have to lean on Arch Manning. And he was there to greet Cam Coleman at the door when he arrived in Austin. They went to dinner that night. He was a large part of the Texas pitch to Cam Coleman. Does that mean it's a guarantee that Cam Coleman ends up in Texas? No, because there are other good pitches. There are other good messages from other programs. And ultimately, look, I know it said it wasn't the final figure, but it's a big part of it as well.
All right. Thank you, Benny. We appreciate that super chat. Diggs here. Thank you, Diggs. Says, are we just in a new reality where every worthwhile player is $1 million player? No, not every player, but I will say this, right? If you put like this, look at the Texas offense. Arch is obviously making more than $1 million. If they get Cam Coleman, he's going to be making $1 million, more than $1 million. Trevor Gooseby is definitely making more than $1 million right now, right? Because him coming back to school, I would probably put him in that category, right around $1 million, right? And then they're talking about getting a running back, and they probably going to have to pay him $1 million. Am I off here? So you're going to have if you get Cam Coleman, you will have $4 million plus players on your offense alone. Is there another offense in America that's going to be that expensive?
Oof.
And that's not even including other starters. I'm just looking at the 4 men. If you get Cam Coleman, and like if you get a decent running back right now, you run out of opportunities to get a running back even worth $1 million. So I agree with you. I think that's I think you're right about the new reality for at least for Texas during the Arch window.
Yeah. And, who's to say this is where, the values of college football remain, right? Because, for Texas especially, you have Arch, and this is, damn it, I'm falling back into the trap. You have Arch. You should be going, I'm not going to say it, but you should be going all out. How about that? When it comes to building and constructing the roster around. Does that mean you go out there and you pay the extra dollar amount to construct this roster? I would think so. But next year, do you do the same thing with a first-year starter? I don't know. So now, I'll tell you this. The amount of players on the Texas roster making $1 million would probably surprise you, considering it's not as many as you would think. It's just not. But after this run of portal guys, depending on who Texas signs and who they end up bringing onto this roster, then it might looking like that number that perhaps you expected originally. So it's interesting. And I don't know. It's ever changing in this world, obviously, with this being the first time that we only have one window for the portal as well.
Yeah. No, I think it's Yeah, I mean, I think it's the Arch window that's incentivizing them to spend. I don't think they're always going to have. Now, I know Tech got a $5 million quarterback already. All right. And then they're going to add around. I'm just talking about like guys who are making at least $1 million on your offense. If everything goes right for Texas, there will probably be like 4 guys.
All right, let me ask you this, Rod. Do we have enough guys on the defense left to support that offense? Of course, adding the new nose guard we just got. Is there enough left on the defense not to have to go out and spend any more money on the defense to support it?
I think you will. I think they'll try to go get a couple of more pieces at linebacker in the secondary, and they really like this that edge from Florida, Woods, Jaden Woods, I believe is his name. They kid's a stud. I mean, he's considered a top 10 player in the portal. I looked at ESPN's top 25 list of players in the portal. They had him at number 10. So they do want to add pieces on defense. Now, I'm not saying they're going to have the amount of guys making $1 million plus at offenses. I mean, I think that's just going to be Colin Simmons on defense. And they'll, like I said, I don't know what else they're going to add. Maybe they will add a big time player, but I doubt they add those caliber players on defense. Just good players who are making good money. The offense, because of Arch, I think is now maybe you should say because of Colin Simmons, they should be bringing in extra guys too. Yeah. Maybe I think that's part of Jeffrod, but they're just not worth. The market doesn't pay. It doesn't value defenders the same way it values like offensive guys at key position. It just doesn't.
One thing I wanted to mention, Marcus makes a good point here. Jerry Hamilton broke this earlier today over at OTF. 2 other defensive linemen will be making the trip. That's Dante Simpson from Miami. He's more of a veteran player, about 6'3", 300-something pounds, 325 pounds. And then Zion Williams, who that should be a familiar name for Texas fans, out of Lufkin, originally committed and signed to Bo Davis at LSU. When he made that trip or that flip over to being on the LSU staff, he is now in the portal. He entered with a do not contact tag. The expectation is that he will end up at the Texas facility or the Texas campus at some point for a visit. And again, we'll see where it goes from there. But 2 guys I wanted to mention because they are relatively new names to this portal list.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that, CJ. Next up, we have Pacon R48. I appreciate that. Hopefully I pronounced it correctly. Said, I fully expect the Michigan O-lineman to stay at Michigan. Who's evaluating the hidden gems? How can the semifinal teams have more than 40% starters as transfers, and we can't pull this off now? Help me trust Flood to evaluate some guys, please. If the 2 Michigan guys, because they're both in the portal, right? And they end up going back to Michigan. I mean, I imagine there's a Ohio State starting guard that's also in the portal. I believe, right? Shimola. Yeah. He's in the portal. You brought up Wes King. I don't know who all their backup options are, but if they can get one, and there's a belief that that's a package deal with those 2 guys too, that they're good friends and they want to go somewhere together, even if that's staying at Michigan. They might want to stay there together too.
Are they going to pull the Oklahoma State guy trick and take an official visit back to the team that they're leaving the transfer portal from? I've never heard anything like that in my life.
That might be part of their visit plans because, I mean, look, they're new head coach with Kyle Whittingham. I mean, it's say what you want. The facilities are the same. The campus is the same, but that's going to be a new program. So they're going to be evaluating their options. Of course, a return to Michigan's on the table. We'll see. Again, they're meeting with Whittingham tonight or tomorrow, sometime this week, early in the week. But look, to defend Kyle Flood here, he at least found these guys, right? And Wes King, a guy from Wyoming, I'm not sure anyone really had him on their wish list early on. That's a talented kid up there as well. The thing with him is, does his size kind of check that box? Right now, I don't think so. But ultimately, to put yourself in the shoes to be competitive for these guys, that's one thing. They evaluated talent that they liked. Now it's about the next part, which is the negotiations, which is the final number, which is the pitch to come play for Texas to protect Arch Manning. That's the focus right now. And we just have to wait and see whether or not what they did was enough.
I agree. Good point there, CJ. Good stuff. Next up, Paxton. Thank you for the super chat. Says, who's at the poker table for Texas. I get that, Chip going in terms of going all in. I assume. I mean, that's Sark. Like I said, Sark's calling all the shots here. This is Sark.
One man. There ain't but one man.
Yeah, Sark calling the shots here. I agree with Coach. Coach said that earlier. It's Sark's calling the shots. Like I don't now in terms of, like I said, how aggressive Texas is in negotiating and matching dollar figures. That I'm assuming that they're as competitive as anybody out there. Like CJ said, there's a lot more to the sales pitch when you're talking about some of these big time players, because everybody that they're considering should be in the neighborhood. Now, Tech's one of the only ones coming in and kind of be a market disruptor, where they'll just offer some ridiculous amounts, and when nobody was like, well, nobody was going to pay that, and then they, Tech gets their guy. So they're probably the only ones that may offer something ridiculous, but I think most of the schools stay in the same range. But the sales pitch,
I would hate to have Brandon Harris's job, because I'm telling you, Brandon Harris's job, if they go over budget, is to go tell some of the guys on the team, look, man, we're going to have to cut you back a little bit. We got to cut you back a little bit. We'll make it up to you next year, whatever the spiel is. But that's a tough job. I would not want that job.
Yeah, very tough job.
But that's what he's having to do.
That's a good point, Coach. UT Pops, thank you for the super chat. He says, any idea who the top remaining wide receivers might be, assuming we lose the bidding war for Coleman? CJ got into that a little bit earlier. I mean, I think at that point, if you lose the bidding war for Coleman, you'll be grateful that you got Ryan Wingo back. But in terms of bringing in game changers, I don't know if there are many game changers left on the board. You can bring in role players. Yeah, that's what we'd be looking for in terms of, and I don't know how many guys you'd bring in that you would guarantee would be upgrades over what you let walk at that point too.
Yeah, no, I know that the kid from Yale was good. The kid from Hawaii is good. Danish Kadero obviously committed to Colorado as well. So, a lot of these guys have started to find new homes. Unfortunately, and honestly, I've only really focused on the one name that Texas has pursued so far, and that's Cam Coleman. So where else would they go after him? And I'm not to say that it's completely over, because there's still a lot of negotiations. There's still a lot to go to get to the finish line here. But, you kind of just get fixated on the one big piece here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you'd think this has to be solved in the next 48, 36 hours, wouldn't you?
Well, he's still got to take a couple more visits. And, it's up in the air right now if he goes out to USC. He supposed to go to Texas Tech today. Some believe it's a Texas versus Texas A&M battle. He wants to stay in the SEC. But again, if there's a 15%, raise out in Lubbock, which was rumored a year ago to get guys to commit out there, you got to at least listen, right? 15% on however many millions of dollars. That's a good chunk of change.
Yeah. And
USC is known to be throwing out big numbers as well. So you just don't know when a new visit might pop up. And
I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. How can you pick Marcel Reed over Arch Manning? It would have to be all about the money. And that's probably going to hurt you when it's draft time, because you're not going to have the production that you would have with Arch Manning. I said it.
Absolutely.
It's true. I agree with you, but that's a good point. I mean, they still consider him a top draft pick coming out of Auburn, and he didn't have a ton of production there just because the pieces around him were so bad. O-line was bad, quarterback was bad.
True.
But you're right, Coach.
But you know he wants to go at least have one good college year where he can be in a system that's going to get him the ball.
I agree. Yep. I think you're right, Coach, but I'm a little biased, as we all are on this program. Rocky's up next. Rod B, have you seen the coach from Miami of Ohio rant about the portal? He had a lot of really good points about the dangers of jumping into the portal. Yeah, I did see that rant online. It was interesting. I don't know if you guys got a chance to check it out too. I think he was just talking about how the wisdom that he got from the experiences of having to go through adversity and obviously not necessarily run from challenges and run to the portal, that it gave him lifelong lessons that you can't quantify or put a price on, like invaluable. And he thinks the guys are missing out on some of that, some of the lessons you learn and some of the character building that happens when I gotta dig in, overcome adversity, those types of things that they don't get that these days. The kids, but they're part of their development. They don't really get that side of it. So, but money, I can't listen. I could be like an old man up here and talk about these kids, they're just jumping in the portal, and a third of them won't even find a home, that kind of stuff. But this kind of money wasn't being, it wasn't around when I was a youngster, when I was a college athlete. So I do understand the motivation. Like, I get it, guys. This is potentially life-changing money, like generational, like changing money. Like, so some of these guys,
but, you say that generational money, but how many 21-year-old guys are mature enough to invest that for generational money?
I agree with you. That's also true. Great point. But not all of them, probably less than half of them.
Well, if you look at the NFL, it's a very small percentage.
It is. You're right, Coach.
And you take it even a level lower with more immature guys in college, that number is going to drop even more. Guys that really are smart with their money.
That's why the agents and the representatives, and we know all of them don't have, good intent. They're really important here. And unfortunately, not all of them are looking out for the student athletes, to your point.
Yep.
That's kind of Sark had that rant too earlier too. Thank you for the super chat. Paxton here says, is Cody Campbell being a hypocrite? What is it? Save college football or go crazy? That's a good point. I don't know. I don't know behind the scenes what Cody Campbell's real intentions are. I do know he has succeeded in bringing Texas Tech to the forefront of this new era of college football, where everybody entertains and talks about the Tech offer because it is making it rain. And I'm not sure what they are obviously finding loopholes, and there's some circumventing.
That's a good way to put it.
Right? They found some loopholes. And
that's a good way to put it. I just wonder how many teams are playing by the same rules.
Not everybody. No,
I'm not calling out anybody. I'm just saying how many teams are playing by the same rules.
I agree with that. Yeah. They probably have, like I said, they got some smart people who try to find, and they're probably being very, what's the word? Maybe they've probably been very bold and with some of the stuff they're challenging the NCAA and the NIL commission. They're probably challenging them in a lot of ways creatively, that they're not ready to the NCAA or at least that NIL commission. They're not ready to review in that way because.
That's smart. That's smart. Push it as far as you can possibly push it. Without because
the NCAA don't want to go to court.
Yeah, without obvious violations.
Yeah, they don't want to go to court, so they don't. I think maybe Texas is like, hey man, we'll take you to court over it. Y'all want to go to court, and they lose in court every time. The courts hate the NCAA as much as the fans do, and that's why they don't want to go to court. They would love to handle everything outside of court. Threaten to go to court and litigation, they usually know that's a loss. All right, getting back to it, Jeff with a super chat said we need some good linebackers and DBs as well. I agree, Jeff. Everybody's so focused on wide receiver and running back that we're forgetting the other positions where Texas needs starters or at least starter caliber players, and linebackers and DBs. I don't know how many of them are off the board, CJ, how many high caliber ones. I don't think it's me. I think the offensive guys I feel like are coming off the board. I did see some DBs that I like, though, already announced their decisions, some safeties and some nickels that I liked.
Yeah, Khalil Barnes from Clemson, he committed and signed to Georgia. On campus today was Bo Masco, the cornerback out of Rutgers. Yeah. Also, we haven't mentioned him, but Christian Alliegro, probably one of the better players that Texas has hosted so far out of the portal, a linebacker from Wisconsin. He was on campus today as well. As far as I know, he left campus today without committing. So we'll see. We'll continue to monitor.
Yep. I like him. I watched film on Alliegro. He was impressed. He's tough too. He actually, I want to say either like fractured his forearm or something. And then left the game, came back in the game, finished the game with like a fractured forearm, and then was out for a couple of games and then finished the season. So he's tough as hell. He's a tough player. He's a good player too. All right. So getting back to it, Travis here says, what is the timetable for the Michigan O-line decision? Any news on the at new offensive one tackle to Dickey coach. I mean, we talked about it. There is no timetable for the Michigan O lineman, and only one of them officially visited. Right, that was Andrew Sprague, the tackle, the right tackle. Jake Guarnera, the interior offensive line for the guard. I mean, a lot of people believe they're going to be a package deal. And that would be great because they both played on the right side too. Be awesome for Texas. And some people believe that Jake Guarnera can also play a little center. Be cross-trained at center would also be a plus. So right now, I know everybody wants the Cam Coleman thing. If I'm not gonna get Cam Coleman, please give me 2 Michigan O linemen. I feel like it's a Christmas list at this point. It's like, all right, Mom, if I can't get this present, can I just get the 2 O linemen? That would be great. All right, Michael with a super chat here says, switch it up a bit. Hey, Coach, why do you think Dabo is so against the portal? Is he too stubborn? Thank you, Michael, for the palate cleanser there.
I don't know. I know at first he was certainly against it. Old school thoughts, raise your own and all that. And I agree with him. But that's not the world we live in. You either have to get on board or you get behind, and they got behind because they didn't get on board with it. Mm-hmm. Then they started losing players, and they're still losing players. And I don't know how many guys they've got in the portal right now, but at some point you just got to throw up your hands and say, this is the hand we've been dealt. We've got to play with it because I don't see it changing anytime soon.
Mm-mm. Yep, Dabo made it personal, and you can't make it personal. It's not personal, and I think a lot of fans are dealing with that now too. It's kind of personal for them, but it ain't personal. It's all business. Unfortunately, it used to be college football used to have this very kind of personal, intimate element to it. I think now it's becoming more business, and college fans do not like it. Transfer portal is all business, even to the point where you're losing some of your favorite players. Jeff describes it here. This portal sucks. So somebody described it to me, Jeff, and said the portal is the best and the worst thing that ever happened to college football. And I said, I totally agree with you. It's like like there's some things in our life that are really fun. The portal is fun. You got to admit, like it's really fun to follow, reinvent a team over one off season. You're following where your players who departed going and what players you're getting, especially for a program like Texas. Like if I was a G5 program, it really would suck. If you're at Texas, it's supposed to be fun. But right now it isn't fun for Longhorn fans, but I think it's good. It's exciting for the sport, but it's not necessarily healthy for the sport.
No, it's not. Imagine NFL teams, everybody being a free agent every season.
Yes, insanity.
It'd be chaos. That's what we have in college football right now. It's just chaos.
Yeah, it's insanity. Thank you for the super chat. So I agree with you, Jeff. Mike here says timeline on Michigan lineman and Cam Coleman. Cam Coleman timeline.
Don't have one.
Yeah. That's the way he wants it. That's the way he wants it. Got
more. Takes those 3 visits.
Exactly. Yep. And keep everybody on the hook waiting. Like I said, I hope the teams approach it in a wise way, because how long can you wait? Can you wait to the midnight hour on it and afford to do that and miss out on all the other potential players? It's a good question. Wade here says, how much more pressure is Sark under if he does not make a splash in the portal?
Well, he just made life a whole lot more harder for himself. That's just the reality. Teams everywhere go out there and add pieces that they need to contend for a championship at whatever level via the portal. Texas has done it every year. I don't suspect that'll be any different this year. But will you get the big-time guys that you expect to put you over the top and back into the playoff? Again, we'll just have to wait and see, because I'm going to do Texas fans a complete disservice if I go ahead and say, yeah, it's a guarantee, because I don't know that. And there have been plenty of times over the last 3 years where we've heard Texas linked to a kid, and that kid was supposed to commit and transfer to Texas, and it never happened. So, again, we'll have to wait and see.
Well, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but you've only got so much money, and you got to keep your current roster together.
That too.
It's not like if it was unlimited money, that'd be one thing. Shame on you, coach, for not signing him, but you don't have unlimited money. So you've got to balance it where you can keep the guys that you have right now that can help you win a national championship and add those important pieces to be able to put that puzzle together to be a national championship contending roster. And that's what makes it so difficult.
Certainly seems that way. Thank you for the super chat. Next up is McCleskey says, I'm with Coach. With all the receivers in next year's NFL draft, how can you choose Reed over Manning? Wide receivers like Cam Coleman are competing for draft position. Thank you for the super chat there. You're right. That's a good point. I mean, that we don't, like I said, I would think that he would be prioritized. Playing with a Manning, I don't know if you can put a price on that either. Period. Because that guy might end up getting drafted, number 1 overall. So I would in a Sark system, it's a very wide receiver friendly system. It's so it's been very productive for wide receivers recently who have gone to the NFL. So we shall see what Cam Coleman considers, but it may not matter. Tech may just offer it back. MJF says Texas Tech has Campbell, Oregon has Knight. Who are our big fish?
They don't want you to know who they are.
That's it.
Yeah,
I know one of them. I know one of them personally. He doesn't want you to know who he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do. They got to. They got.
He's not in it for that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Now I tell you what, man, Texas Tech was a quarterback away from competing.
They were.
That
year. Roster could compete. The quarterback could not.
But they got a quarterback now that can. And you add Cam Coleman on there, you better watch out.
I agree.
Woo.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, fair weather fans, thank you for the super chat. Says, be honest, Arch and one Reed should not have an impact on Coleman's choice. If he cared about draft stock, the choice would be South Carolina?
Southern Cal?
Southern Cal? Okay. Maybe I was like,
they got a better quarterback and offense than we have?
Southern Cal. Why would it be Southern Cal? I guess they did just have the Blendikoff Award winner, so maybe that's it.
Yeah. I can tell you this, that Blitnikoff Award don't make you any money in the NFL. Jordan didn't win that. He did win the Paul Warfield Award. Didn't help him any. Hey, let's draft him. He won an award. No.
If we're just going off, I don't know, programs that are in producing like wide receivers, I mean, try to go to Ohio State or something.
Yeah, look, USC's had a good run, right? Amon-Ra, Drake, London. They've had some guys. I'm missing one other that was a big piece of that offense as well. Brains coach, but Texas under Sark has had a lot of draftable success as well. Golden, Worthy. You look at Adonai Mitchell, Jordan Whittington got drafted. So a lot of success there. So you got to evaluate everything.
Yeah, it's a good point, though. I mean, Lincoln Riley is known as being an offensive guru. All right, thank you for that super chat. We appreciate it. Isaiah, thank you for the super chats. What about Malachi Lee? CJ, what's up with Malachi Lee?
Yeah, he's locked into Michigan. He met with Whittingham and the new staff at Michigan. He's locked in. There's nothing new with Malachi Lee.
All right, thank you, Isaiah, for that super chat. Michael, my business up next, says, see the Penn State Cyclones. Hey, Matt Campbell, he liked this team. He's
or the Oklahoma State Mean Green.
Yeah, right. But honestly, that's the new thing now, right? And when coaches get a job elsewhere, I mean, I bet Mac Brown wish he could have took that North Carolina squad with him to Texas when he came, or at least half of that squad with him. I mean, this is the norm now. You get a job, there's a good chance that coach is going to raid your entire roster for the best players, or at least the ones he recruited, especially for his system. So. I mean, it's about to happen. I don't know. We'll see. Ole Miss I don't know what's going on with Ole Miss and with Lane Kiffin and what he's doing. They're still on the playoff run, so we'll see about that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that one is. All right, let's thank our lead sponsor for tonight's program, our friends over at South Point Dodge. We appreciate them being part of ON Texas football and supporting the winning drive. Folks, if you are looking for a brand new car, you're looking for a truck, or you got a trade-in, something new, something used, our friends at South Point Dodge pride themselves on being Austin's automotive everything. There's nothing like Texas football, and nothing runs like a Ram. South Point Dodge is Austin's Ram headquarters, and during the right now, during this new year, huge savings on Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, plus exclusive perks for On Texas Football listeners. You got 90 days to make your first payment, and they're going to ship that fantastic new ride to you no matter where you are in the great state of Texas or beyond. Over 600 vehicles in stock right now. So whether you need a workhorse or a weekend warrior, our friends over at South Point Dodge, they have you covered. Go to southpointdodge.com or go visit them off I-35 in South Austin. We really appreciate them being a part of On Texas Football. All right, let's get out of here because CJ's got to get some rest. CJ, you've been a warrior, brother. Thank you for battling through. Coach, thank you for all the wisdom. We appreciate you as always. Matthew is the real MVP behind the scenes. Please give it up and show some love for Matthew. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Thanks to southpointdodge.com, vonlane.com as well. And thanks to our friends over at heartgroveroofing.com. If we missed any of your questions, please direct them to the gentleman at Coffee and Football bright and early tomorrow morning. That'll be Bobby Burton and Jerry Hamilton at 8:15. And then we'll have your Tuesday night live stream as well. Oh, what's that, Coach? What you got there? Oh, I think you're on mute, Coach. I believe so.
I'll be on there in the morning for a while.
Oh, Coach will be on in the morning.
Yeah,
right.
So the viewership just went down.
Nah, I just call the bump right there, Coach. But yeah, so Coach will be on the morning show, the Coffee and Football tomorrow morning, and you have the Tuesday night live stream at 7:15. I believe CJ Vogel's going to be on there with my man Jeff Howe as well. We got a super chat here to end things. Oh, don't forget. Right now, Portal Madness. Thank you very much, Matthew. Portal Madness right now, great time for you to keep up with all the goings on. Great thread over there at ontexasfootball.com with all of the portal news, with all the updates there. You can get all that access, guys, for just $1, right? $1 for this 1 month of Portal Madness. You don't want to miss out. Great chance for you to sample. If you are not a part of the On Texas football community, great chance to sample all the great work that the On Texas football team is doing at ontexasfootball.com. We talk about a lot on the YouTube platform, but it's a fraction of what is actually covered there at ontexasfootball.com. Limited time offer, so act now. We appreciate that. Thank you, Matthew. One more super chat I believe we have here from Catch the Wave. That's before we get out. Happy New Year, fellas. I've heard Adidas sponsored schools may have an NIL edge over Nike schools since Adidas is publicly traded with fewer restrictions. Is there truth to that, or can you clarify? That is a damn good question, Catch the Wave. I would have to do some research on that. That's good. Do you guys have any knowledge on Adidas compared to Nike and NIL endorsements?
I hadn't heard anything like that. I don't know.
It's interesting. Okay, I'll do some research, Catch the Wave. I promise. I'll start doing some research tonight on it. I had not heard that though. If that is the case, that is interesting. All right, thank you guys. We appreciate all the super chats. I said thank you. Sorry we couldn't get to all the questions, but really appreciate you guys and your participation. For Coach and for CJ and for Matthew, I'm Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers. Until next time, hook 'em.
Welcome. Thanks, Rob B.